1279 Main Street. Either this was signed and he lied, or someone else is lying. Those were the words that were spoken by the chair of the Hooksett Police Commission on April 21st, 2009. The chairman was referring to a memo written by Officer DeFina. It seems one way or the other, a Hooksett police officer has lied. So an investigation was started. The problem is, now it seems that that investigation had nothing to do with that memo. On May 19th, I asked about the scope of the investigation, and the chief said, and I quote, basically, the wording of the chairman used that night when he said that's what he wanted investigated, that's what was relayed to the sheriff's department. So that is where their focus is, and that's where their starting point should be. June 16th, J.R. Willett asked, is there any resolution to the internal investigation regarding the DeFina memo? The chief said that would be part of the sheriff's investigation. August 18th, referring to the sheriff's investigation report, I said, in reviewing the report, does the report answer the question? I was referring to the lying about the memo. Mr. Gagnon said, I do not believe on that specific memo. I said, obviously is an important question to you as you're the one that asked it. Can we have follow-up on that? Mr. Gagnon replied, absolutely. September 15th, I said, at the last meeting, you told us that you would look into the issue of the fourth DeFina memo and who was lying about that. Have you done that? Mr. Gagnon said he had not received a copy. September 15th, J.R. Willett asked, I was wondering if you had made a formal request to the sheriff's department. The chief read a letter stating the scope of the investigation, and I quote, did any member of the Hooksett Police Department intentionally try to cover up the existence of safe school reports regarding the college school or safety issues at the Hooksett school?
We're done with the DeFina questions in the comments.
Excuse me, that's my public input.
And I have a right to halt it. We are done with it. It's an open thing right now.
So we're not done with it.
We are.
This is my public input. Do I not have 5 minutes to speak?
And I have the right to stop it.
I ask for a vote of the board.
Take a vote.
As far as I'm concerned, we're not discussing Officer DeFina anymore. He chose to go to the Public Employees Labor Relations Board. As far as I'm concerned, that's the end of the story. I'm
not asking for information about Officer DeFina. If you'd let me finish my statement, I would be able to pose my question.
Are you?
My question is...
Hold it. Are you?
I guess the problem I have is that I don't know, we're going on and on and on. Is there a question that can be framed or something that can be submitted to?
I have a question right here.
Okay, that can be submitted to the chair so that we can get some response, because I too, like you, want to put this to bed. I don't want to keep on regurgitating the same thing over and over again. So, and I recognize the fact that this is a public input and you have the right to ask the question, and I respect that, and I respect people that come up here and have questions to ask. But by the same token, if it's a question that's already been answered.
It hasn't been answered. And the chairman said he was going to look into it, and he never has gotten back to us. My question is, how did the letter we heard that went to the sheriff's department describing an investigation about safe school reports, how was that conformed from what the chairperson said that night, that he was going to investigate that memo? Did the chief alter the chairman's order?
Is that question on that?
This is not for submission. This is my verbal question, because what the chief read last week was not what Mr. Gagnon said on April 21st when he initiated that investigation. And again, the chief said that that's what he was sending to the sheriff's department. But we learned last month, only last month I learned, that the report had nothing to do with the memo. So my question is, as a citizen, which Hooksett police officer lied about the memo? If we're gonna write up people for lying, then we need to get to the bottom of this. And the chairperson said he was gonna look into this multiple times.
Well, I can't speak for him, and I don't mean to speak for the chair, but you know what would be helpful? If you do have that question that you want him, and that you say that he was supposed to get back to you, if you do have it, and you can frame it and submit it, I think, you know, we need to make it a point to, you know,
It's certainly, I believe it's in the minutes, it's on the videotape. I've asked it, we've asked it, it's never been answered.
I believe the sheriff's report said no one was lying, if I'm correct. Isn't that not what it said?
I asked you if the sheriff's
I
report.
just asked you a question.
I haven't seen the sheriff's report.
Why not? Everybody else has.
I don't know that, you've never presented it here.
It was made public.
I have never seen it. I asked you at a meeting if it referred to the memo. You said it did not. Those were your words. And my question then is, if it does not there need to be another investigation about the memo? That's what you said on April 21st, that someone was lying on that memo. That is a person's character. That's a person that's now been fired for this department, and we've never resolved that issue.
Why don't we just provide him with the sheriff's report and then
Yeah.
we'll go from there.
and
Well, actually, excuse me, we shouldn't, because I don't believe they should have released it, because it was an internal investigation. Now, they chose to release it, so anybody that wants it, who already doesn't have it, should go talk to the sheriff's department. If you remember in talking with our council, that should not have been released by them. So for us to release it just because they did, doesn't mean if they did it wrong, we shouldn't do it wrong too.
What if it was already released? Does it matter at this point?
it becomes,
It's up to you,
it becomes a public document, and that's my
Let him get
concern.
it from all that.
My question is very simple. The chairman asked that the sheriff's department investigate the memo. What the chief sent to the sheriff's department was very different. My question is, how did that happen? Did you change your mind, Mr. Gagnon, and instruct the chief to do differently? Or did the chief take it upon himself to change the scope of that investigation? I think that's a serious question that needs to be answered in this department. Any other time when orders aren't followed in this department, there are serious repercussions.
I think the best thing to do is take this question and to come back, you'll have to research it, and you have to research the fact whether or not that can be,
That will be yet another month. I was supposed to hear about this last month. That's when Mr. Gagnon told me that he had received a copy of the memo. He's also told me that, I have a quote here where he says he did not read the 3 prior memos up to the 4th memo, but yet was ready to start an investigation of the 4th memo. I can't believe that you wouldn't read 3 prior memos, and you're going to investigate the 4th one.
Okay. Anything else?
No, I'm just asking you to do your job. And I'm asking you when you're going to get back to me, because I come here every week and use up my 5 minutes trying to get you to do things that you said you were going to do. And I'm fed up with it.
can we, excuse me, Mr. Ronday, could you write down those questions or submit them, okay? And I believe that the chair will find out and they will be submitted. I apologize, and I'm a commissioner here and I'm just as guilty.
I will submit them in writing.
Thank you.